Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. This is Dr. Nila. So you are watching the dental test by Dr. Nila. Students usually find tooth development to be a difficult topic, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible without excluding any important information. So this is section 1. By the end of this section, you will understand what this series is about. Make sure to watch all the sections in sequence to avoid confusion. In this section, we are going to discuss basic concept of deciduous and permanent dentition, anatomical planes, the structure of oral cavity, developing oral cavity, its lining epithelium and connective tissue, formation of primary epithelial band, the structure arising from primary epithelial band, that is vestibular lamina and dental lamina. In this section, I will only introduce the stage of tooth development. In next section, we will discuss each stage in detail. Now, we will be discussing about deciduous dentition. I will be giving the basic introduction. On the upcoming slide, you will be coming to know more about the deciduous dentition. This is the picture of a complete deciduous dentition. It is important to count the number of teeth in deciduous dentition. There are 10 teeth in upper. There are 10 teeth in your upper arch and 10 teeth in your lower arch. So total number of deciduous teeth is 20. This is your right side and this is your left side. So on one arch, this will be 10. So one side it will be 5 and other it is 5 corresponding to the 20 teeth. The major difference between a deciduous and the permanent dentition is in deciduous dentition, premolars are absent. Now moving to the next slide, that's permanent dentition. This is the picture of a permanent dentition. There are 16 teeth in your maxillary arch and 16 teeth in your mandibular arch. Therefore, total number of teeth is 32. If you already know this, very good. If not, don't worry. I'm here to explain all these basics clearly. Moving to the next slide, anatomical planes. If the body is divided into right and left half, the plane is called sagittal plane. The horizontal plane, the second one is horizontal plane, divides the body into upper and lower portions. And the coronal plane, the blue one, that divides the body into anterior and posterior part. We'll discuss this further in upcoming slides, more detail. You just have to know how the coronal, horizontal and sagittal plane, what does it mean? Coronal plane means if it divides the body into anterior and posterior part, that is coronal plane. And if it divides into upper and lower portion, that is known as horizontal plane. Sagittal plane means if it divides into right and left halves, that is known as sagittal plane. Next is introduction to the oral cavity. This is the clinical picture of a oral cavity. You can see the space between the buccal mucosa and the dental arch. This space is known as vestibular space. Similarly, the space between the lips and the anterior dental arch is known as vestibule, is also the part of vestibule. So the entire space that is present between the oral mucosa and the dental arch is known as oral vestibule. Moving to the next slide, Incision of tooth development. Now let's discuss the incision of tooth development. Tooth development usually starts at 6 weeks of your intrauterine life. When you are in your mother's womb, tooth development starts. So, when you are in an embryonic stage, tooth development starts. It starts as a continuous band of thickened epithelial form in developing oral cavity. One band forms in your upper arch and other bands form on your lower arch. In this region where the upper and lower jaw will later on develop. Initially, when you are in your mother's womb, that is on the 6th week of intrauterine life, there will be a continuous band of thickened epithelium one band will form on your upper arch and one will form on your lower arch that will later on develop into upper and lower jaw. Epithelial thickening is ectodermal in origin and is called as primary epithelial band. Below this epithelium, there is a connective tissue that is usually ectomesenchymal in origin, which is derived from the neural crest cell. This is also a very important thing to get remember. It might come in your exams, Viva, as an MCQ. Please note it down. Moving to the next slide, primary epithelial band. Primary epithelial band give rise to a localized epithelial thickening. There will be 10 thickening on your upper arch and 10 thickening in your lower arch that will correspond to the 20 deciduous teeth. This epithelial thickening invaginate into underlying connective tissue. Each thickening will give rise to two structures, that is dental lamina and other is vestibular lamina. All of this occurs during the 7th week of intrauterine life. This is the coronal section of the developing head. And there is a thickening. This is the one thickening. Other thickening is this. This thickening will divide into two structures. One that is present lingually, that is your tongue, and other this is oral epithelium. This is known as dental lamina and this is known as your vestibular lamina. And there is connective tissue also. Around this dental lamina, there is an ectomesenchymal condensation. You can see here the cells are closely packed. And this connective tissue and oral epithelium is separated by a membrane that is known as basement membrane. Moving to the next slide, that is dental lamina. Dental lamina plays a major role in tooth development. It forms a series of epithelial ingrowth in ectomesenchyme. Around this ingrowth, ectomesenchymal cell accumulate and condense. As I said in the previous slide, here this ectomesenchymal condensation happens. This is the dental lamina. I told you in the previous slide also, this is the dental lamina. Here the ectomesenchymal cell condensation happens and here the cells are very closely packed. Tooth development then proceeds 3 stages. The first one is bud stage, the second one is cap stage and third one is bell stage. Initially, this will form a bud stage, later it gets converts into cap and later on into bell stage. In the bud stage, the cell form a bud-shaped structure. The bud then transform into cap and then followed by a bell stage. Now we will be discussing about the vestibular lamina. Initially, the vestibular lamina proliferate into ectomesenchyme as the epithelial cell multiply. Here the multiplication and proliferation take place because there is a space between your dental arch and buccal surface. Because of this, the cell degenerate and forms the cleft. You can see this. This forms a cleft. Here the cell degeneration happened and it forms a cleft. The cleft becomes vestibule, the space between the dental arch and the cheeks or lips. This is actually the programmed cell degeneration, which is known as apoptosis. If the degeneration occurs due to pathology, it is called necrosis. Thank you for watching. In this next section, I will explain bud, cap and bell stage of tooth development in detail. If you have any question, feel free to ask in comments. Thank you. Once again, please give your feedback and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.